At a height of 147 feet, the St. George's Cathedral is a national monument and Guyana's most enduring symbol of Christianity. It is located in the country's capital, Georgetown. Over the years, the country's population has been divided as to what the cathedral, as it is commonly known, really represents. For some, it isn't just sacred, but its structure stands as a haven for commercial sex trade, and most recently, transgendered sex workers have been plying their trade in the vicinity of the church at nights.
St. George's Cathedral is an Anglican church where Anglican worshippers normally go to worship, and it is the tallest wooden structure in the world.
Mostly the gay community you would hear hanging around, or you would pass at nights and see them hanging around the cathedral.
About the St. George's Cathedral?
I know there's a lot of buggery going on there. A lot of homosexuals claim they're picking fear.
The reality is, in the day, it is a place of worship, but at nights, it's nothing like that.
What are the kinds of things you would usually see?
Well, plenty of homosexuals and men going and pick fear with them. They even, many times they rob a lot of taxi men. They take cars and jump out there and run away and so on. The homosexuals.
When I was a curate down here back in 1994-95, that problem existed. And I saw it as a challenge then. Admittedly, I was much younger then. And we used to go out and engage them in discussions. And there are some really sad and heart-rending stories.
One such heart-rending story is that of Sion Prasad, who goes by the street name Isabella. Isabella said she was born male, but by the age of 7, she felt different from her brothers and sisters. At the age of 11, she left her mother's home to live with an aunt, where she lived for 1 year before starting to exchange sex for money. From the age of 11, she started dressing like a female. At the age of 14, she started working with a group of transgendered commercial sex workers outside of the St. George's Cathedral.
I am out here because I have 6 brothers and 3 sisters, and my family was so poor. The money just go towards to my nieces and my nephews' school fee and school uniform.
Isabella, from a tender age, has helped her single-parent mom provide for her younger siblings. She now helps a friend with caring for his shop during the day, and at nights, risk her life trying to make a living outside of the cathedral.
Sometimes when you go with some fair men, they might want you to suck the cock bear back, and they might want to pay you a little bit more, but you gotta be careful with STIs and so out there.
I met Isabella through Otis Pearson, known as Otisha. Otisha is currently the longest working transgendered commercial sex worker outside of the cathedral.
It's getting 15 years now since I've been doing prostitution around the church. In my time, we only had about 4 homosexuals there, and people could not have directly know if we were gays and so, but now I realize that the whole complete block now is gay people.
Before becoming a transgendered commercial sex worker, Otisha was a medical student attached to a clinic at the Georgetown Public Hospital and played for a cricket club in Georgetown.
I don't think I can sit down and wait on a monthly salary, so that's why I decided to do prostitution. You see, prostitution, it's a game that you can gain a salary within every night.
Today, she is seen as an advocate for transgendered commercial sex workers and the person they meet with before working outside of the cathedral.
Part of them, when there's an incident, they do call upon me, they ask me for the assistance and so.
It is about 10:20 p.m. Guyana time, and I'm standing in the vicinity of the St. George's Cathedral, where most of the sex workers would ply their trade, transgendered sex workers, that is. They would usually operate just out along Church Street out here. And early this evening, we spoke with some of the sex workers operating just outside King and Church Street, and they shared their stories with us.
My name is Renella, here on the street. I'm 28 years of age. I've been out here for about 10 years now, and it's a bit of hard for us out here, but we try to make the best out of it.
And how old are you, Gina?
17,
And how long you've been out on the street?
like a year and a half.
What made you come out here to become a sex worker?
Because I haven't been getting any work.
As a transgender person, they don't really have jobs for us. They find it to be an insult. They don't like gay people that wear dress like drag clothes who want to be themselves. They would most normally prefer a gay person that acts like a man or, that tug it out. But I can't really tug it. I have to be me.
We find that most persons who are transgender in Guyana are commercial sex workers.
What makes the job that they have chosen to do any better than the job that I have chosen to do? Yes, we could sit down and speak about morality and ethics and so on. But I think a measure of understanding and compassion. I certainly wouldn't advocate going out there and using force to remove those commercial sex workers. They don't make themselves a nuisance. They certainly don't interfere with the cathedral. They don't interfere with anything that we do here.
It's not that we're inside a church doing business, and there's no way we can do that. We're over the next half, and those are where our clients come and pick us up.
A major challenge affecting commercial sex worker in Guyana is abuse. And I would like to say that abuse stems from the lack of laws to protect those persons, making other citizens feel like they have the right to abuse those persons.
I get a stitch here. I think it's stitched something inside out, and on my skin here, as you could see down on my foot here, here's where that, like if I stand up, a car will pass and just shy me with a buckle and just cut up my foot and just drive away. I stand on the car now. These boys roll up in the car and say, "Come out of the car now." And one of them slap me and snatch my gold chain and push me over.
Not every client that I go with, I tell them I'm a man. Now, I do not announce to them that I'm a man because I'm portraying the role as a woman. So I know the danger of it. That's why I do not encourage so much of them into prostitution, because I know the deadliness of it. I have seen what it has caused already.
It's not very prevalent in society where homosexuals are attacked, and they are attacked. Let's not get it try to cover this up. They are attacked, but it's not with that kind of regularity or frequency.
You can't go at the station and give a report and say a man hate you, right? But if a man go to the station and says auntie man shy him, or his auntie man embarrass him, they won't lock you up and harass you.
I heard of a case where some men shot at known persons of the LGBT community, and nothing came of it.
Homosexuality and cross-dressing is illegal in Guyana. In 2013, a chief judge ruled that men can now dress in women's clothing, but not for improper use, which stemmed from several persons being arrested and charged for cross-dressing. Improper use was never clearly defined, and the Society Against Sexual Orientation and Discrimination, an advocate organization dedicated to the eradication of homophobia in Guyana and throughout the Caribbean, is looking to have improper use clearly defined under the law.
I think it still leaves a great deal of discretion at the hands of law enforcement agencies to target particular groups of people, particularly transgender people, particularly transgender sex workers, for anything under the sun, and to use those cross-dressing laws as a guise for those kind of discriminatory approaches.
As it relates to accessing public services, health services, you go to the hospital and you're trying to get something done, and they either recognize you as a sex worker or you say, well, that's my profession, and you're automatically given a hard time in accessing those services.
What gives any of us the right to say that somebody who is of gay or lesbian orientation is wrong? I mean, whether it is, and I'll use the word condition advisedly, whether it's a situation in which they find themselves by choice or by genetics.
Though many transgendered commercial sex workers are stabbed, taunted, or discriminated against in Guyana, some even face death.
We begin this evening with the weekend murder of two men who acted as commercial sex workers and were killed by a jealous lover who later set himself alight.
So he came on the road to end my life, which he didn't get a chance, so he killed two of my friends and end his life.
It was horrific out there. It was not nice to witness. So that is it. And since that incident, I have, had a very serious talk with them. To myself, I don't believe no of them out there because they're not fully aware of prostitution.
What to do with commercial sex workers? I'm not certain if that is a cathedral issue. It's more Ministry of Social Services issue.